Hello everybody, today we're going to be looking at Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, d20 version. This is one I think Wizards of the Coast put out back in the day. Look at that. Look at this little grouping of things. Something you don't see anymore. So yeah, this is like one of the first Call of Cthulhu role-playing games I bought. I played Call of Cthulhu, I think 5th edition first, years ago, and it was a little rough losing all the people in the game, but you know, TPKs are normal in Call of Cthulhu. I just didn't know it at the time. So when I saw this on sale, I picked it up, and after reading it, I can see why it was on sale. So this uses the d20 system, where you basically, you know, like in 3rd edition D&D, very similar to that. You kind of have your basic, you know, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Normal stuff like that. You choose whether you are a defensive option or an offensive option. You get better saves with the defensive option, and you get better attacks with a offensive option. It kind of plays to where it's easy to double, like multi-class between the two. I think you get more skill points too in defensive if you level up that, and it just tells you what your levels are, and both of them level up at the same way. And as your skills go up, you know, just a huge amount of skills. You choose which profession you are, and you get skills based on those, just kind of like in regular Call of Cthulhu. But unlike a regular Call of Cthulhu, where it's percentile based, in this one you gradually just get better and better. And for the most part, the system here is, I don't think, really that great for Call of Cthulhu compared to, what is it, the original basic role-playing game, Chaosium edition. But D20 was very popular at the time when this came out, and it works, it's serviceable. One of the big things was like what happens like as you level up and you get dealt more and more damage. So like in regular D&D, there's like a rule in 3rd edition that a lot of people, I don't think, realize was there, but it's like when you get dealt massive damage, when you get dealt 50 damage or more, you roll, so if you got dealt 55 damage or whatever, you would roll your constitution saving throw. So minus 50 would make it 5, so 10 plus 5, and you need to roll 15 or higher to see if you die or not. Yay. And here, massive damage is anything above a 10. So if you got dealt 10 damage or more, that's massive damage time, and you start to roll for death save. So even if you had 100 hit points, and here if you got shot by a gun, and the gun does 15 points of damage, there's a chance you're just going to die from that right off the bat. There's some feats in here, because what would be a D20 game if they didn't have a bunch of feats? For the most part, they have a couple little psychic feats that you can get, other weird little things like that. For the most part, I really dig the art. They did, like, there's a lot of art in here that I did like, and is spooky, and I think works well. As you can see, the layout is like this weird crooked, you know, cyclopean layout design, I guess. You have sanity, and you roll to see if you get insanities when your sanity breaks in this game. One of the things that your sanity is 5 times your wisdom, I believe. And from there, that's what your sanity points are. And you kind of roll sanity just as you would in regular Call of Cthulhu, where you have to roll equal to or less than your sanity to not like have the worst effect happen. But still, bad effects can happen even if you succeed, because it's Call of Cthulhu. Nothing great happens. I really did like some of this art. Like, this is just great. You know, before he joined Pathfinder. Just really cool artwork in here, kind of cool ideas. as far as everything goes, you have all the combat that you would see in 3rd edition here. Whereas in, like, you know, regular Call of Cthulhu, you don't really want to be in combat because, again, it's dangerous. We have some magic in here. Like, you know, when I played in Call of Cthulhu, like the 5th edition version or whatever, I didn't really read, like, what the magic effects are or what these items do. But, you know, they just have, like, really, like, they're very, very powerful magic, but there's a huge amount of cost. There's one that I remember reading that just, like, kind of freaked me out. It's like you point at somebody and all insects within a mile radius go for that person. So that's a horrifying thought. You don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to happen to me or anybody, really. So lots of good spells in here. And I guess, like, if you're playing, like, any D&D game or something like that, this is an interesting way of converting Call of Cthulhu spells into D&D. You still have to use the sanity rules to make it fair or whatever, just because a lot of the spells cost stuff. The enemies in here, again, like, they go from either, like, you know, basic zombie, oh no, animated corpse, to, like, incredibly weird and dimensional shamblers and flying polyps, hounds of Tindalos and stuff like that, formless spawns. Just wild things. Serpent people, Shoggoths, you know, it just gets crazy and crazy. I think there's a couple adventures in here, and they're okay. They're serviceable, nothing too great. They kind of give you the idea of the rules and how things work. I might review those at some point. But again, you have, like, things here where you have, like Cthulhu. What is it like to fight Cthulhu? I don't think you really want to do that. He just makes you lose so much sanity just by being around him. Overall, I think it was really cool to see all these, like, statted old ones and things like that if you really wanted them in your games and stuff like that. And as a person who plays DCC, I think knowing the D20 rules for Call of Cthulhu is helpful. If I wanted to ever do some Eldritch horror or Lovecraftian oddities in my games, this is kind of a cool thing to have in my back pocket. But I really do feel like John Hook's what is it, in Goodman Games 2017 yearbook or Gen Con book, he does a really good job of having the stats for a lot of these Cthulhu monsters. But I do like having this amount of information. I still suggest regular 7th edition Call of Cthulhu, which is the newest at the moment, over this any day. But this was an interesting read, and it really did help me get into the Cthulhu mythos, so I'm kind of thankful for that.